mental illness requires life support and may be defined as progressive, degenerative, or terminal. And it also may require significant home modifications, repeated doctor visits to the hospital, or more than 2 medical appointments weekly, and requires an adult aide to perform basic life management functions like eating, dressing, etc. And it also requires special adaptations for transportation and communication.
We use 4 categories to organize mental illnesses. First, there are developmental, otherwise known as learning conditions, which include pervasive developmental disorders such as autism, Asperger's, and childhood disintegrative disorder. Second, there are emotional conditions, which include bipolar disorders, major depressive disorders, panic disorder, and PTSD. Third, there are mental conditions, which include schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorders, paranoia, and psychotic disorder. Lastly, there are behavioral conditions, which include OCD, bulimia nervosa, and anorexia nervosa.
Go.
In 2014, in the United States, it is estimated that 4.2% of all adults experience severe mental illness. In Puerto Rico, this is estimated to be around 7.8% in 2000, which is around 295,000 people in total. About 23.7% of these are under 18 and 76.3% are 18 and older.
Hello. I understand that you are currently in charge of Hogar Campo Bello. What do you do at Hogar Campo Bello?
Well, I am the Chief Executive Officer of the corporation that owns Hogar Campo Bello, which is a prolonged residential care center for adult males that suffer from psychiatric disorder. And we have 11 residents right now.
Okay. So, is this place a nonprofit?
No, it's not. It's a for-profit domestic corporation organized under the laws of Puerto Rico.
Do you receive any government aid at all?
We don't, but our residents do, directly or indirectly. The local ones, we actually have 2 local residents. They receive disability income from the Social Security Administration, the federal agency. The other 9, they have been referred by the government of the United States Virgin Islands. They don't receive direct aid, but the services are paid by the Department of Health of the United States.
So, what kind of services do you offer your patients?
Well, of course, they have a place where they reside. We have comprehensive care where all their basic needs are taken care of. They receive 3 daily meals and snacks that are designed by a licensed nutritionist. We also have two certified cooks. We have also a roster of personnel that is qualified. We have attendants. We have registered nurses in every shift except the night shift. And we have licensed practitioner nurses. They monitor their vital signs and they follow up on the pharmacotherapy that has been prescribed by their psychiatrist. Each of them, they have their own psychiatrist. Well, maybe a psychiatrist is the main psychiatrist of some of them, a group of them. They also have a primary care physician that takes care of their needs.
From the years 2014 through 2017, the budget for mental health services has decreased by almost $20,000. And with the percentage of people with mental illnesses increasing notably every year, the funding for nonprofit organizations that treat these patients is not enough. In 2015, the budget assigned for these services was $89,907, yet they spent a total of $95,784.
You have a right to receive services through the government, including services such as occupational therapy, educational therapy, psychotherapy. The law states is that you should have a school psychologist for every 500 students. Do not pay the professionals that work for them. So services for a good long time have been absolutely stalled. Because this has to do with public school funding. Private schools don't necessarily have special education services. The school doesn't have to comply with special education or reasonable accommodations even beyond those according to the Americans with Disabilities Act. Once a school starts to receive federal funding, even if it's a private school, then you have to start complying with other laws. You get help with school books, I know, and for transportation, you can get help for that. And I mean, other than that, it depends on the family situation, and if you receive some sort of like assistance. If you want an exhaustive, a comprehensive evaluation, then you have to pay for it yourself. It gets very costly. A good evaluation run you up $400, $500. It can run you up a lot of money. But there's excellent services that are being provided here. There's mental hospitals throughout Puerto Rico. I mean, services lo mismo. Services very great. I mean, they take insurance, but you need to have insurance. They're very overcrowded. I mean, people are so overworked. Severe mental illness, things like schizophrenia, it can be very disruptive to just your daily life. I mean, we need to start with using the money for what we should be using it for. We need to pay attention to the laws, and we need to, comply with the laws. There's a new education law that just came into effect, which is the Every Student Succeeds Act. That you have to provide adequate supports in school for students. You have gains that are achieved through time, but if you stop receiving those services, you tend to regress. So by the time these kids were able to get back on their routine months later, I mean, you were worse off than you were when you stopped.
The government provides inadequate care for the people with severe mental illness. The type of care that they do provide is of subpar quality, adding on to the financial and emotional strain of these families. The private care available is expensive and is found in very few locations. These people, which constitute 7.8% of the population, are underrepresented and have difficulties finding the care they need.